patterns starting on Wednesday, continuing into Thursday. Steph.
So let's talk in more detail about that, Jen, about the rain and also the severe threat that extends anywhere from really Orlando down into Miami. As the storm's rolling ashore, those outer bands bring that threat of tornadoes. So that's something we have to watch for as well. This was what Jen was mentioning. Tampa to Orlando, that's that I-4 corridor. Essentially, that corridor northbound is where you'll have the heaviest rain coming ashore. On the south side, it's a little drier. So it doesn't look like we're going to have as much rain as we've had, let's say, over the past week here in South Florida. We do have flood watches. This means conditions are favorable for the development of flooding. Anywhere from Florida all the way into Georgia. Flood warning means it's imminent or it's occurring. This is a very tough map to look at because this shows that only about 30% of homes, and mainly from Fort Myers to Miami, have that flood insurance. Around Tampa, I mean, we're talking 15, maybe 20% have flood insurance. And a lot of people don't know flood insurance is not on your homeowner's insurance. So if you're watching from somewhere and you want to get flood insurance, do it now because there is a waiting period. You can't do it right now if you're in the Tampa area. Unfortunately, because there is usually they give you a wait time in order to do that. But here's a look through tomorrow morning, that potential for flooding. Today's kind of a down day. It's really Wednesday into Thursday when we have that potential for a lot of flash flooding. And I want to show you our radar. This is our high res showing the storm coming in. It makes landfall Tuesday into Wednesday. Notice on the south side, a little bit drier for us here. And there is the center of circulation coming ashore Wednesday into our Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, it's already just, raced across the state. It is off the Atlantic coast. And it is still bringing that onshore flow into places like Jacksonville, where Jen is located. There's your tornado threat, and it does ramp up a bit tomorrow in those outer bands coming around for us. And it is still likely Thursday into Friday we could see some flooding here. Don't forget the St. John River, huge river, pushes inland here. And so that does cause flooding well inland, actually, from the shore. There's your rainfall totals, and you got the rain coming down. You got the surge pushing into some of these rivers. So that means that we are going to see a lot more rivers come out of their banks here as we head in the coming days for us. You see around Tampa especially because when the water's pushing in and you have rain falling down, everything's trying to drain out. It can't drain out. And so everything gets clogged up, and that just exacerbates the situation for us here, especially around Tampa. And again, along the St. John River, we expect to see that go up too. We want to make sure that you stay weather aware with the TWC streaming app. Here you can find updated.
I'll send it back into you guys.
Let's talk more about that, Jen, and where we will see the wind, where we will see the surge, and how we're going to get it really through the entire peninsula. The Panhandle will get a bit of a break. There is some surge issues we could have here, but basically the wind, the rain is going to stay away from Point Tallahassee and points westbound here. Let's talk about the low pressure and when it's coming ashore. So if you have a low like this headed right towards Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, there's a counterclockwise flow. And the storm is moving this way. So this is why the right front quadrant is so powerful, because you have the winds coming around and the forward motion of the hurricane. And so that's why you have the highest surge as it's coming ashore and on the right front quadrant, opposed to the north side where the wind is going out and the hurricane's going in this direction. So that's why you are going to see those highest surge, Tampa, Sarasota, and points south of where the storm comes ashore. Though we still could have that big push of water ahead of it, bringing that water up all the way to Apalachicola. And then as the storm crosses over and is in the Atlantic, you have a counterclockwise spin and you get that onshore push of water, even though the storm is moving in that direction. You still get that onshore push. Now, remember, when this is coming ashore, it's not just where the hurricane is. It's not like you just have that water here. This thing is propagating waves out in all directions, even behind it. And so that's why you have to worry about surge and rough seas in every direction. Tampa, worst case scenario, low goes just to our north or right on shore, and we get that push right into Tampa Bay and see just a huge surge. If it goes just to our south, Sarasota will get the worst surge. And remember, you have a low counterclockwise spin, so you'll still see that water rise here in Tampa Bay, but it will be coming out here towards St. Pete. But don't forget, you still have that water kind of push in. So it's not like we don't have to worry about it at all. And if it comes farther south, it could be a lot worse for places like Port Charlotte and Fort Myers, though we will get a high surge regardless. Now, potential wind threats. Notice that if you're in the eye wall, you could have winds gusting over 100 miles an hour and Cat 1 winds Orlando over to the Space Coast and to Vero Beach as well. So we're talking widespread power outages, trees down, structural damage here across the board for us. Winds today, let me start over. Today's your last day to prepare. Tomorrow in your safe space, as the winds are going to get worse as the day goes on. The National Hurricane Center is warning that destructive storm surge will occur along parts of Florida's west coast tomorrow, and that's where we find our surge warnings. They stretch from the Everglades to Cedar Key, but also notice the potential for surge on the east coast of Florida, including Georgia and South Carolina, too. You will see surge outside the cone, but the highest is expected in Tampa and Sarasota. But look at that, Naples, we could get 4 to 7 feet there. Let's focus in on the Tampa Bay area where we could see a record-setting surge over 9 feet. And I can use this simulation to show you what it will actually look like in Tampa. At 3 feet above normally dry ground, water is already life-threatening. It's too late to evacuate. Water this high can knock you off your feet, make cars float, and driving impossible. The first floor of homes and businesses are flooded. Unfortunately, the water is expected to rise even higher at 6 feet above the height of most people. Vehicles get carried away. Structures start to fail. Just look at this. Anything could be in this water. Sharp glass, debris, chemicals as well. The scary part is some areas could see surge values at 10 to 15 feet. And this takes us up to 9. And look what it does. At this level, the first floors of structures are completely flooded, and there are few places that it is safe when the water rises this high. We want everyone to know their evacuation zone, listen to local officials, and evacuate when ordered to do so. And Jordan, you made a great point last time. This is not just a